Hello everyone else, welcome to new video. Today I'm going to talk about stop wasting your life. It is a very hard topic today. We are going to delve into it. Actually, I have been thinking about just making a podcast about stop wasting your time, but also I will do it maybe later. But stop wasting your life is more energetic and it's more controversial topic here. I was just thinking about what is the meaning of a life, but I couldn't find any answer. Why? Mostly we are just creating some natural concepts and some natural ideas about the life. For example, it is the culture which we are living in just affecting our sense of belonging, and also it affects our thinking style. For example, if you are living in Japan, your actions, your behaviors determined by the Japanese society. If you want to do the actions freely, it's gonna be tough because you are just dependent by the Japanese society. If you want to be individual, if you want to create your life in the Japanese society, it's gonna be a bit of harder when we are comparing to America. If you are just living in America, you can just be free and you can create your own business if you just compare yourself between the Japanese society. But it is not all the time meaning everything, because the time and the energy are changeable. All the people around the world living to that while they are just trying to understand or not. Some people just committing suicide. For what? Just getting into the society. Some people getting accepted by the societies and some people cannot. If you're just living under the pressure, if you are just out of the society, it's going to be tough for you just understanding your meaning of the life and trying to create something new. But mostly people living in this world trying to create new concepts in order to just believe and continue to live. For example, we are living in the religion. For what? We are living in the religion because of the just moral sense of belonging, sense of just the morality. We are just searching for a meaning. After we dead, what's going to happen? We will are we going to continue to live without any effort, without any bill, or without any friendships, etc.? Maybe the love, we have lack of love, we have lack of emotion, we have lack of sensation. Maybe you are just getting mobbing in your work environment. Maybe you are just fighting with your boss. Maybe you are just fighting with your colleagues. It's understandable because the life which we are giving the creation and which we are giving the meaning sometimes need to be just fighting and sometimes need to just not give up. It's understandable. If you want to live, it's also mean you need to struggle. It doesn't mean that the struggle is endless. Sometimes when you are young, you need to build something and you need to create something. If you can create something when you are young, probably your whole life will be passed in a normal way rather than just sitting around the world and just searching for another meaning and just shuffling the psychological or philosophical books. I was just sitting at the library for a long time and trying to understand what does really mean of the life. So there is no meaning. It is changeable. It's sensible. It's a very distinguishable topic here. I am not giving you something like a receipt and you can just find the meaning of a life. It is not a guarantee. Mostly, if you are living in the world, maybe the country which you are living in, maybe you living in India, maybe you are living in Nepal, maybe you are living in Vietnam, maybe you are living in Taiwan. Every country, there's different kind of core. There are different kind of souls. All the souls are so different each other, but in the end, they are just connecting each other as well. That's the reason why we are so different from each other, but also we are connected with each other. So you need to understand, nothing is very casual here. Nothing is just get shaped randomly. Yes, some things are happened randomly. For example, just the country which you have been born, maybe the partner you were going to marry, maybe something like you're just going to college, the master's degree program, or something like a department which you're gonna go. But sometimes you need to understand we are living the life and experiencing the same stuff. If you are just 26 years old like me, you need to understand once upon a time, everybody, when they are very young or when they are getting the 50s, everybody became 26 years old. If you just live longer than the 30 years or live longer than the 26 years. Maybe some people have been passed away when they were 20s. When they were just 16s. So the life is not a very long story, brother. And the long story short, before we pass away, just searching for a meaning, when we are just getting older, when you're just checking our parents also getting older, we are trying to search for a meaning and we are just trying to understand this world. Why we came here, what we are going to do, and what is the meaning of a life. These questions are circling around the world for a long time. It's so understandable, it's so repetition. Sometimes we are just repeating the same questions and trying to give different meanings. But Albert Einstein once upon a time just mentioned that if you are just doing the things repeatedly and you are getting the same conclusion, it means you are stupid. So it is understandable, it's very funny. For example, the time. What's the time? What's the meaning of a time? If you are just dating with a girl, very beautiful, very energetic, and very honorable, maybe the time can be just pass for you the 1 hour. If you're just dating with her, maybe 5 hours. For example, this is going to go changeable. Let's give a simple answer, or simple example. For instance, if you are just dating with a girl for 10 minutes, it means like it can be feel you 1 hour. If you are just dating with a beautiful girl. If you are dating with an ugly girl, probably the 10 minutes will going to be maybe 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, and you will just think like, I just give another bad example. Okay. Let's think like you are dating with a beautiful girl 1 hour. Okay, it means you feel like you passed 10 minutes. But if you are just dating with a girl 1 hour, if she is ugly, probably you will be dating with her approximately 5 hours. So you can feel and you can resonate the energy and sympathy and empathy. I have seen a lot of videos, a lot of books, and everybody's complaining about the same things. Some people complaining about the life, some people complaining about the money, and some people complaining about their passport. Even whenever I'm checking the Instagram reels, they are just doing a lot of passport reels. For example, is Nigeria safe? And I was just searching for a reel, and I have seen that someone just recording a video, just making the iPhone and just above of the car, and everybody just watching while they are passing. But in the back end, someone else recording the YouTube videos, and someone else recording this iPhone when they are the iPhone above on the car. So the thing and the meaning is really underestimating our values. Sometimes we are just giving a lot of value to people who are not deserving it. If you are just getting a lot of value, if you are getting more positions, even you are stupid, you can be more in a chair. Maybe if you are just really stupid, even it doesn't matter, you can get more energy and more compliment and more just as Thanksgiving. So it doesn't every time, not its only meaning with your energy, with your position, and with your wishes. Sometimes the life will going to lead you. But sometimes I'm also complaining about the life. I am 26 years old, still alone, and trying to be exist here, and I will go to the just another world before I pass away, and I feel myself nothing I have been achieved in this life, and trying to be ashamed sometimes. No, nothing is just like going to comparable, and nothing going to can be understandable here. For example, I'm just living in this world, just going to library, just trying to just write a book, and trying to come to just my job. And sometimes, whenever I'm just came here, just watching the field, watching the greens, and trying to look above of the sky, maybe the universe, maybe the stars, and maybe just like something like different planets. Maybe Jupiter, and there are a bunch of gases in the Jupiter, like the oxide gases and hydrogen, and other just like hydrogen gases. So a bunch of gases are there in the universe. So we are living in this very different kind of world. Maybe we need to understand the truth, behind of the matters. Sometimes matter can be understandable, but if we don't understand their essence, their core, it will be meaningless. Most of the time, when we are just passing through it, for example, let's think about the give 2 hours. Like, they are really different from each other, like the nanoseconds. Such as, there are two digital o'clocks, okay? The one o'clock is shows 12:00, and another o'clock shows 12:00. So, are they similar? Exactly. They are just like same. Maybe, but if we are going to add more, for example, 12:00:00:00:00:00 1 nanosecond, and another would be 12:00:00:00:00, just a 5. So you cannot understand between just a different 1 or 5 in the end of the just like the after just like the zeros. The reason is it is a nanoseconds. Even the just like snows are so different. The yuki are so different from each other. That's the reason why we are complaining a lot here. But even the nanoseconds are so different. If you are just thinking about the two o'clocks, even the digital o'clocks, they are so different, and even their inside they are the Planck seconds, nanoseconds. So it is better to understand behind of their limitations, behind of their real things which we are going to understand. So what time actually is like? Don't, I'm going to talk about it. Most people treat life as a background noise and sound like a meaningless. Like, so what is the meaning of a life? Most of people going to understand my ideas and they are going to suggest the other things as well. So the morality and the irreversibility, awareness, that horizon, the scarcity, existential void. Some people are just living in the existential crisis. Mostly people are trying to ask the questions. I am going to school and I am going to my job. I'm going to just trying to just just speak with my teachers. But every time when we are just experiencing the same thing, we are just watching the young age and the young people, the primary school people, and they are very, very young age. And when we are just watching them, we are just seeing our past. Once upon a time, even we were just so in a primary school, but we are getting older. And some people, whenever I'm seeing on the social media, they are very successful and they can just achieve what they want because they have been in the social media before I do. That's the reason why if you are just on the social media for a long time, you are getting more respect than you think. So sometimes we need to just start the things when we are at the young age. Maybe the meaning of a life, what we are doing, especially in rapidly in nowadays. If you are just liking to drawing, if you are just drawing to, if you are liking to draw pictures, if you are like to speak, if you like to give the instructions to people, maybe you can be a great leader. If you like to think, maybe you can be a great philosopher. If you like to just fight with people, maybe you can be a great taekwondo coach. So every time when we are just seeing the limitations, it can be dependable, it can be agreeable here. So mostly we need to just find our core in the end. For example, I was just watching some news. I have always wanted to go to another country, living in abroad, just recording the vlogs. But I have realized that I am not enough financially, and when I wanna go there, it's not going to be easy peasy because I need to compete with the other people and get enough money before to go there, before move on there. Because the most cities living expenses are so expensive, and I cannot affordable for it. I cannot afford it. So here I'm just understanding my value. I'm understanding my environment. I'm understanding my eligibility here. Sometimes we are not eligible for doing the things. If we are living in our houses, if we are living in our family house, maybe we are not eligible to go to the another house. If we just have a chance, like think about the Leibniz. Maybe he was also talking about the same issues. There is a potential, like we are living in this world. Maybe this potentially very, very, very extraordinary world, but can even just like can be compatible, even can be just like the complainable. But here we are living in the world very exact. If will be another world, probably if we are living on the Mars, if we are living on the Jupiter, probably we wouldn't live there. That's the reason why we are here. If we are here, probably it means that we are just living in the potentially the best world here. But it doesn't mean that it is the good world or it is the bad world. We are just living in the world potentially better and potentially exact and potentially best. But the best doesn't mean that in a good world. Man, there are a lot of devilness, evilness, and people can do the crime here, and even people just can be complainable, and people can go to the jail, and people can maybe just do the bad things. For example, just being robbery, they can just rob and they can fight with each other. Even the wars are happening in Iran and other countries as well. Mostly, we are living in this world not giving you any guarantee of percentage here. Some people are going to understand, and some people are going to die, and some people are going to live longer. Some people will gonna die when they get to 20. Some people will gonna die when they get to 50. So, where's the meaning of a life? Actually, in the end, there is no meaning. We are just giving the meaning to life, and we are giving another potential to life. What we are just trying to believe on it. Even we don't believe on it, we are trying to some concepts and we are just giving a lot of meanings, and then we are just going to believe on it. Even we are not believe on it. So sometimes it can be scary because in the end we need to understand our awareness. Everybody wants to get available in this life, and everybody wants to just achieve something. When you are just checking my position, I have always wanted to learn the Chinese. There are different kind of Hanzi forms and just like the different kind of traditional and simplified Chinese here. For example, if you want to learn the simplified Chinese, you need to understand the mainland China. You need to go there. If you want to learn even you don't go there, you can learn it online, but it is also understandable. If you go there, you have a better potential. If you just want to learn the traditional Chinese, you need to understand Taiwan Chinese. The Taiwanese people have been using the traditional character, so it is better to go to Taiwan, understand their words. So here there are two different kind of things. I have just studied the Japanese. I'm just trying to understand the GLPT entry exam, but I also understand that my age is spreading and it's getting older. So I have always wanted to be immigrant in Japan, but I couldn't do that. Why? Mostly here the issue is the financial, the trade, economical, and the other conditions, because my appearance is not very beautiful and I'm not handsome enough. That's the reason why sometimes if when you're just getting into the job, just being handsome is really giving a lot of guarantee, a lot of potential. If you are not good looking enough, probably people not going to hire you, and they are not just willing to hire you. Sometimes people can act like unwilling. It's understandable. I'm not questioning about their positions in that, because it's their job in the end. So sometimes we can feel like the life come and the clock time and the urgency and panic, because sometimes people going to just question about themselves, what I need to do in this world. Just time is passing, time is clocking. What the fuck I'm doing here? Just recording YouTube videos, and it's like some other people going to complain about myself. Why you are recording videos? Nobody's watching your videos. It's understandable, because I'm just trying to do the career here. Even nobody's watching my videos. Most after the 5 years, if someone just watch my videos, probably I will have just the fame, and I can be famous on the internet. I can sleep with a lot of women. If nobody is watching my videos, probably I will lose this opportunity, and I will stay in my very small teeny house and trying to be complain about the world. I'm just complaining about the world for a long time, and I get used to this feeling. Mostly if you are just the very, very poor class, after the middle class is dying, probably you are just going to repeat the same things. Before just 5 videos before, I was just talking about the middle class are dying, and I'm still just complaining about the same. What we can do? If you just talk about everything, probably if you are going to talk about everything, it's going to be similar. What's the reason behind it? I'm just trying to develop my English levels here. That's the basic reason for what I'm just going to report this, and just understand this kind of values and views here. And other thing I want to mention that here, even this situation is not very like very open here. We are just trying to understand the different concepts of here. Mostly I have been very expelled by the society. I didn't get accept any of condition of the society, any groups, any association. So am I complaining about this issue? No, but I get used to this feeling. Probably when I was getting to any association, people didn't give me any love, people didn't understand me, people didn't assemble me, people didn't give me a hug for it, and they didn't embrace me. So I'm not complaining about this situation. And lastly, I just like the bought a. I'm just trying to just analyze whether should I buy a new just some like a computer for just getting a better just a video record card, or other things for just playing a game, just recording better quality videos. But why I need to just give the 50,000 Turkish lira to the fucking like the screen card, or something like the video game player cards, something like a better quality computer? Maybe I'm not sure whether should I buy a better quality computer or not, but I'm also questioning about it. I was just buying the gold, just saving up the gold in order to go to Japan, just going to language school. But I am also ambivalent about this issue. Probably my views are so less. Even if I want to change my country or location, it's gonna be tough. Why? Let me explain why. If you are just struggling financially, it is so hard to change your location, because I am not very handsome enough, and whenever I'm just checking the people, they are traveling around the world and they are doing the things what they wanna do. So it's being so enviable, and it is so something like urayamashi desu ne. So the people here in this world trying to achieve something, whether they can just prove themselves to others or not. But here, whenever I'm just comparing my situation to others, I'm being so sad. I am living this world which is very I hate, and I'm just trying to understand my condition. And sometimes I'm complaining about the traditions, customs. Whenever I'm just opening a fucking YouTube, and there are a bunch of different kind of people out there, and some people just talking about their selves, and some people talking about their wishes, and some people trying about their jobs. Mostly, if you are just working in the IT industry, if you are just like industrial engineer or something else, you are just getting more attention. If you are a doctor, you are getting more attention. If you are something like a sociologist or just a psychologist like me, who are just like trying to do the master's degree in psychology, but I need to give up because I just went to come back to Turkey before Taiwan. I went to Taiwan, but I came back here. Why? Because I couldn't just continue my education, financially struggling. So here in Turkey, the people are in a third-class country, so that's the reason why my wishes and their expectations are so different, and we are not assembling in the middle. So Here, my issue when we are just getting older and trying to understand the situation, we need to analyze and delve into the what is the reason behind in a like the some like a West psychology, West philosophy, and East philosophy are so different. If you want to live in the East philosophy, maybe Taoism, maybe just Master Kong, like the Confucianism, and I'm saying like Master Kong. Maybe if you are saying like a Taoism, maybe sometimes you can just Taoism, but Taoism is more logical, Daojia. So if you are just talking about the East ideology, East philosophy, you will understand. You need to forget about everything before you're just talking about the new psychology and new philosophy in the East, in China, in the Taiwan, in the Japan. You need to forget about everything what you have learned before. If you want to create a new page, you need to just start to blank this page first. So is it logical just forget about everything before just learning the new thing? Mostly, I'm going to explain about it because if my branches are so firm, if my branches are so trustable, why I need to just cut my branch and just get into the maybe like the sun like a leak? Why I need to just swim on the pole rather than just getting the other side with the bridge? If I'm using the bridge, why I need to swim on the pool? It is not very logical here. Mostly people have their own desires. They have own just like cultural and moral understanding, and every understanding is different from each other. We cannot judge the people for their own beliefs, for their own sakes, and for their own wishes. For example, I have been always wanted to work in a nightclub, just going to a job which is really less stressful and trying to be unique and trying to create the things which I want to just achieve. But it didn't happen. Mostly, I'm just complaining about this issue for a long time. I'm trying to create my own businesses. But it is also not very easy peasy. Whenever I'm just seeing the people on the internet, they have already created their own businesses. Maybe they have started social media 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I cannot compete with them. Mostly, I haven't got any microphone, I haven't got any camera, I haven't got any mobile phone. Maybe I'm just using the iPhone now, but it is not a very complicated idea here. I wasn't rich enough just creating my own business before the long time ago, but I'm just trying to record YouTube videos, even the snowing the weather. So what is the behind of this issue? Just trying to fight with the system here. Even I'm going to try my best, just as much as I can, just record the more YouTube videos. Maybe I cannot be explore, I cannot be viral on the internet, but the one thing I can do is just continue. Why? Because if I give up here, mostly I won't have any chance because I cannot turn back. I cannot just stop the time because this time is just passing without any condition, without any talking, because time is very very water. If you're just trying to catch the time, probably you won't able to do that. If you want to get married with someone, if you are just find someone else, just get married immediately or on the spot, because you won't have any other second chance here. If you are thinking about my position or my thought about just getting married, I'm going to easily say that and when you get married, you will be regretful. If you don't get married, you also will gonna be regretful. Why? If you are just getting married, you are going to, in that situation, you are going to just blame your partner. I would have better just find another partner. If you don't get married till you're getting 50s, probably you're also going to be regretful. Why? Because you are going to just turn back and say, I wish I had get married that girl even she was ugly. So the situation is the same, brother. Even we just choose an option, mostly we are just getting regretful after we choosing an option. But it is better just giving a decision rather than just not making a decision. If you don't do the make decision, probably life going to make a decision for you. So it is better to do the decision with your own will rather than just letting the letting the destiny give you an option. So it is better just create our own business, and we need to just create our own page, and we need to create and write our own destiny rather than just waiting to life, just deciding ourselves which destiny is better for us. So I don't want to let or just giving the life to the life for in order to just take off me, just giving to some like a chosen and choosable options. So mostly when I'm just drinking a coffee, I feel myself very isolated from this world. If you are drinking coffee, you're probably going to understand. You are just trying to be away from this world. Before just getting a coffee, maybe you are just getting a lot of temper and a lot of attention, and you are just like getting, how can I say, maybe I just forget about this 羨ましい感じが気がするかもしれません。日本語で何と言ったら恥ずかしいとかちょっといやいや気持ちじゃなくて I just forgot about these words, and maybe it is better to write it, and maybe I can understand. maybe what was the maybe attention just increased. Yeah, before just taking just like coffee, excitement and other things, thrill and other eager and anticipation, autoism and entoism and adrenaline, nerves. Like you can be excitement, exactly what I mean going to be understand here. Maybe before you're drinking coffee, you can feel yourself excitement and you can feel yourself in a eager, like you are want to drink coffee. But while you are drinking coffee, you can say that it is not a very excitement. It's very exciting. It's not a very just something like a great coffee. But before you're thinking about the coffee or about an action drinking coffee, it can be excitement. It can be something like an enviable eager. You can be eager to drink coffee. But if you are drinking coffee, probably you can just say yourself, "Oh, I have been drinking coffee, but it's not a very tasteful enough. Before just getting coffee, I feel myself it is better to just drinking coffee, but now I feel myself not ever resonate from this kind of idea." So we are just getting in love the idea of drinking coffee rather than just the just self of the coffee. So it is understandable here. Mostly you are just getting a lot of attention to your girlfriend. If you are just thinking about, if I had a girlfriend, probably I would be the best, just a happy person in this world ever. But if you get a girlfriend, after you getting girlfriend, probably you will say, "I am not a very happy person in this world. I was taught that if I get a girlfriend, I would be a very very happy person in this world," but it didn't happen, right? Mostly you just calculate wrong. You also just get on your ideas based on your bias. So the bias can change your opportunities and can change your lead, and sometimes it can be misleading. So you need to understand what is the core of this essence. Sometimes the establishment and the basements can be neglectful and can't be faithful. If you don't want to do any false action, you need to just let it happen, and rather than just being to understand and giving the decisions about the life. Sometimes we cannot control it. Even we need to let it slow or let it just something like a flow. If even the life is going to be flow, whether you accept or not. But sometimes the people are going to be get remembered by their own just success. If you are asking my opinion till today, I didn't success anything but speaking. But mostly what is the I mean? Maybe I'm just better at the speaking, just trying to understand the valuable things than trying to understand the deeper voices. Sometimes whenever I'm just checking the people, they are just searching for deeper meaning. When you are just trying to understand and listening to some people, you are just searching for the deep meaning conversations, right? But some people cannot do the deeper conversations. For example, talking about the death, talking about psychology. Mostly you are going to think about that we are just saying the same stuff, but mostly yes. But the otherwise, or like the Wittgenstein and the Leibniz said that before, we are just trying to understand the world based on our concepts, but our concepts are limited. So when we are just trying to define, for example, we are giving to something like a psychology, or just we are talking about the philosophy. So think about the concept of the psychology. Even when we are just talking about the psychology, someone else giving to another different meaning. If you are a schoolgirl, you are giving to psychology different meaning. If you are something like a professor, you are giving a different meaning of the psychology. And maybe if you are something like a prisoner, you are giving a different kind of meaning of to the psychology. Or if you are something like a 50 or 60 years elderly person, probably giving the different kind of the ideology to psychology. So the concept is based on changeable with the person. If the person understanding word different from each other, mostly we are reflecting our ideas to concepts. And after the concepts just getting into the real, mostly they are just trying to assemble our ideas, not ourselves. Sometimes it's getting limited. Even we just do the same things, even we do the exact words, even we just create the exact combination of the word, the alienation, just a lot of different kind of allegories. It doesn't mean that everything. For example, let's think about a novel. Everybody have just read this novel, which is names like the, how can I say, Karamazov Brothers, like from Dostoevsky, or something like a Nana from Emile Zola. You know, if you are just giving me any just like a recommendation of a book, I would say that the Nana by the Emile Zola, it will be a best book. You can just read the Emile Zola's Nana. So if you are just trying to understand Nana, if you are just change to translate this book to the other languages, for example, the French, the German, and Norwegian, or some like a Japanese language, probably the main message, the main core can be defendable. And maybe it cannot be disputable, it cannot be disrupted. But if you are just talking about the poem, it can be different. Maybe I was just remember a guy just who write a book about the title was Illumination. Maybe the 500 years ago or the 300 years ago. I'm not sure, but he was a very young poet. The illumination of the book was a very good. But another poem was I want just trying to understand maybe Macbeth. But the Macbeth from the William Shakespeare, he was just wrote it something like a not a very poem style. It is something like it just combined with the poem and poem with and the novel. So it is better to understand which kind of poem I was trying to understand. Like Sylvia Plath poems. Okay, the something like a Sylvia Plath poems I have been read there. Maybe I forgot about their book, but you can read the poems of the Sylvia Plath, and even we are just trying to just translate the Sylvia Plath's poem to the another languages. For example, let's delve into the Turkish language. Probably we cannot understand the exact message and what the Sylvia Plath means. Mostly we are going to understand the viable and the seeable and the viable, just the concepts of their verse. For example, maybe Sylvia Plath gave another meaning to the wall, but we are going to understand the wall as it is. But the Sylvia Plath's wall understanding is different. We are understanding the wall. So everybody is understanding the concept in a different way. Such as, for example, if you are just cursing to someone else, maybe it can be harmful. Maybe they can just try to start a battle with you. If you are just cursing your friends, if you have been friends with theirs for a long time, probably they can understand it with those people, and they are going to respect you and they are going to answer you back immediately. But if you are just cursing someone else, if you are not know those, and if those are just a very non-understandable, if they are just like some anonymous people, so you are going to fucked up. Maybe they can start even a battle. So be understanding our limitations, the understanding the other people's limitations are so different. Mostly we need to understand what before we act, before we think, before we just sound like a giving decision. Mostly the decisions can be neglectful and can be false. So what we are going to do now, we are trying to give the better opportunities and the better quality answers rather than trying to understand of the meaning of a life. So don't waste your life. The one opportunity and the one thing I'm going to give you. So systematically the life is choosing sometimes in a different kind of factors here. So maybe psychology can be understandable here. The fear, the perfectionism. Yeah, perfectionism is so important here. Some people need to do the things in a perfect mode. Some of them just trying to be a very, very, very dominant, and they want to control everything and they want to manage everything. But it is not agreeable and it's not understandable. For example, I have seen a lot of green videos. What about the green videos? It can be watched every time. I was just seeing a lot of people who are just trying to record a video about I don't want to work 9 to 5 job. Everybody on the YouTube trying to record this video. Why? Mostly it's a green video. Even the 5 years later or the 10 years later, this video, if your channel getting close or if your channel doesn't get the delete, this video will be seen even the 10 years after. So if the word size and the work times can be changeable to the 9:4, probably the 9 just who are just recording a video about 9:4 going to be top viral. So here, mostly, they are thinking like the YouTubers just deciding everything. They know everything. They hate just understanding the life of the essence. No, mostly we are just giving a lot of different meanings, a lot of different concepts, and people just trying to believe on it. And they are living in our isekai. And mostly, the people just showing and just understanding the word from my point of view, rather than their own point of views. Mostly, when someone else trying to build something, you are just getting affected by them and you are getting influenced by them, and you are just trying to think that if this guy is doing something, like maybe he was so right. For example, let's think about the Master Kong. If the Confucius, like the Master Kong, did something or say something, probably it would be true, and the meaning of a life should be understandable by the Master Kong. So is it logical here? Not very logical, brother. Like, if you are thinking like to someone else who is saying something, it should be true every time, every life, in every concept or every possibility. No. If you are saying something, it doesn't give you a guarantee it should be true in every possibility. Mostly the possibilities are just coming from our wishes or desires or understandings of the style. So the perfectionism, when we are turn back the concept of a perfectionism, it can be very dangerous. Sometimes when we are just trying to understand. For example, let's think about yourself. Maybe you are just writing a book, right? If you think that this book isn't very logical and it is better not to publish it and it is better to stay away just writing a book again. For example, you have just wrote approximately 100 or 200 verse. Just give an example of the J.K. Rowling. She just wrote a book about Harry Potter. It didn't publish, but it didn't publish by the 10 or the 20s publishers. So she decided to publish it even it is not just getting boatable, getting sellable. So after 2 years or 5 years later, someone else, the kid just explored it and it became boomed and it gets spread worldwide and she became famous. Maybe she was at the maybe 2 years or 3 years before she was just getting on a ship and she was just coming to the Antalya or border. I'm not sure yet, but it's understandable. So maybe J.K. Rowling still went to Portugal and she got married with someone else. Just maybe some like a newspaper writer and editor. Yeah. She just got married with this newspaper editor in the Portugal, but she get divorced with him and she went to England and she tried to apply for just a singular like the celibacy salary to the England government, and the England government accepted that, but it didn't be financially enough, so he was very in a poverty, so he complained about the poverty and he wrote it. Sometimes we are doing the things under the pressure. For example, I'm just recording videos under this weather. What the fuck I'm doing here? Most people are just going to ask me this question and I'm going to give an answer. After the 5 years later, if I have a chance, if I just continue to upload this video, probably this video can be put up and can be just watchable every time, every energy, every hour. Mostly I'm just trying to record the videos approximately 1 hour and I'm just trying to speak about it. For example, let's think about a movie. If you are someone seen this movie 10 years ago or 20 years ago on the television show, probably this life of just being a famous person, it's gonna be easier generally and just like literally, not very exactly, but literally can be easy. She can just find a job, or those can find a job easily on the other things, and because they are famous, even they can go to the another. Just like a parties, the other companies, they can get money because they are representing an idea here. For example, let's think about the models. What the fuck are they doing? Mostly even the photoshopper and the people who are just taking photo of the model, they are just getting bread of this model. Mostly people just showing to respect this model, this girl. Why? Because they are getting bread of this girl, and she need to be peaceful. She need to be perfect before just getting a lot of shot. So if you are just thinking about the Instagram models, mostly they are giving a pose, right? These poses are just get effect 50 years ago. If you are checking the 50 years ago documentaries and other some like magazines, you need to understand this kind of poses have been given before, and mostly this kind of modern Instagram influencers are just some like faking it and repeating it. So it is understandable. It's a topic of them. So before just writing a book, reading a book, we are trying to resonate the writer, and mostly we are giving a lot of attention. For example, I have been just reading a book about the Kappa, who is just getting right by the Ryunosuke Akutagawa. I have always been just searching for a meaning of the existential crisis, because we are just living to death and we are just trying to alive here and we are going to die one day. So what is the meaning of this living? Maybe just giving a lot of meaning to just getting married someone else or just getting engaged with someone else. So it's an understandable meaning of the life. But mostly we are just going to question about the life, whether the life is very understandable or not. But the question of just understanding whether the life is good is better understanding of the meaning of itself, of the understanding. Mostly people need to struggle. They need to work from morning to night. Maybe if you are just your class is very subordinate class. If you are just a blue collar worker, you're just fucked up. You are just need to work from morning to night. Even you complain, your boss will going to fuck about you. So it is better not to crack your fucking bill and just going to understand, not going to construction work and just trying to understand your some limitations. Maybe it's not better to work in a supermarket. For example, someone else who are living in a supermarket and the world is working in a supermarket in some like a 7-Eleven or Family Mart. So it is so hard for them because because they need to just like do the folk shift, and they need to carry the items, the goods, and they need to think themselves very different from each other. But mostly, if you are just going to this job for 10 years or the 5 years, mostly you are going to be sad and you are going to be disappointed about the life. If someone else can get anything in this life, cannot get expectations, cannot get any moral, cannot get any valuable in this life, probably people going to just fight and people going to just complain about the situation. It's understandable. It's the same for everyone else. So there's a structural source and normalization and positive contribution and digital noise. Attention economy. So mostly everybody is using social media, right? On the social media, this kind of lives are so different from each other. Sometimes I'm just getting similar with them. I'm just trying to invite to their lives. Even I just checking about my situation, I couldn't make any friends in my life. Well, I have been alone. So I get used to this feeling. Being close sometimes not doesn't mean anything else to me, but it is better to continue to live. Because as much as I know, the only thing is just continue to live. So just live, bro. Just exist, bro. Just continue, bro. So is there anything just we can do in this life different from other people's? No. Most of the things, most of the thoughts, most of the ideas, most of the concepts, most of the psychology videos, or most of the psychology writers, psychology books have been taught already. We are just doing the similar things what we have just read before, what we have just read before, what we have just watched before, what we have analyzed before. Mostly we are living in this world which is just the very, very, very just similar and just something like in a chain mode. Mostly we are just chain between our past and the future. Mostly people trying to add something to themselves, and they are improving themselves. They are something like growing themselves. But most of the situation is not very easy peasy. For example, think something like about a writer. If this writer doesn't get any criticized by the society, if he is just getting published his first book, maybe he can get criticized by the society, maybe he can get punished by the society, and society can be very something like angry for this writer. This writer doesn't give you anything, and this writer just trying to understand the world by their own essence, by their own basements. Maybe something like that. But mostly, if we're just going to criticize this writer, maybe he can just add more to themselves, add more to himself. He can just be a good writer in the end. Maybe if we have a chance, we need to give attention to more this kind of people, and maybe sometimes we need to endeavor them rather than just let them break down. It is not easy peasy to compete in this world, just trying to get more help, trying to get more backup. But nobody will going to back up you, and nobody will going to support you in the end. If you are a man, if you are a lonely man, your life is so harder than ever. Mostly you need to encourage the people, but it's not going to be easy. The man's life, mostly the hardest life in this life. So I get used to this feeling, just understand to being lonely. If you are just talking about the girl's side, the girl's life is easier than when we are comparing the man's life. So people trying to understand this issue is what is happening now, what is the reason behind of these issues. So mostly there is nothing. When we are just getting close to die, when we are just passing away from this world, maybe we can be happy in the end because we won't ever just come back this universe, and we will understand the behind of the secret of these worlds, even the sacred books, and sometimes trying to understand the sacred book. For example, think about the Quran. Mostly the Prophet Muhammad is something like coming from their other prompts, like the Jesus Christ and the Jesus, something like a Jesus Musa and the Jesus Zechariah, Jesus Yusuf, Jesus, if I just not remember, Zechariah and the Dawood, Jesus, not a prop, not a Jesus, like prop. Maybe I need to search prompt Muhammad, the prompt Jesus, and the prompt Dawood, and the prompt Musa, and the prompt Zechariah, prompt Yahya. There are a bunch of prompts, right? Mostly just the prompts of the before the Muhammad, just they conclude and they complete the last form of the being a prompt. So like something like an avatar, right? Why the avatars continue to come this world? Because mostly they are complete their before the avatar forms. Each avatar who coming from the after the before the avatar, mostly the after avatar just getting complete all the before avatars, and all the before avatars needs to thanksgiving to last avatar. The last avatar is just getting more core before all the avatars. That's the reason why even the prompt Muhammad just getting a lot of core all the before prompts. So the thing is, when we are just coming into this life, maybe we are all the human beings, and we are trying to be exist, but mostly we are all the last forms here. Maybe we are here because of we are just here as a last form of us. If we are not living in this world, something like if something like possibility of the world, mostly we are living in this our lives. It's the best for us. For example, I am living as an officer here, right? Maybe the being an officer is the best for me, rather than just going to Japan, rather than just going to another, just pursuing another business. For example, I have started to create just working in an investment company, just trying to call the Japanese people and say, oh, もしもし、もしもし、ちょっと投資会社から電話しておりまして、どうやって投資した方がいいでしょうか？投資経験がありますか？そんな質問を書いてくれた後で、その後で繰り返した後で、私はそんなに幸せではない感じがいたしました。そうですよ。So after that, we are just trying to understand these concepts that maybe this working in an investment company is not fit with me, because I really don't like to just work for the money, because I have an understanding of ethic. The ethic is more important than just being rich. And if you just ask, in my opinion, it's better to be stay middle class rather than just forsake my ethic or forsake my moral. It is better to understand being just doomed, and not a doomed, maybe being to sound like a, how can I say, forsaking karma and forsaking destiny. I haven't forsaken my destiny for a long time, so it is better to stay forsaking our destiny. Maybe if you are living this life, for example, if you are just working as a teacher, if you are working in a truck as a truck driver, maybe the best job is for you. So if you are just sound like a character, your understanding of the life, your limitations are maybe addict to your jobs. For example, if you are a student, if you are not a worker, it is better to be a student at that moment. For example, if you are just getting 30s, and when you are a student, if you just think my opinion, maybe it is better to be a student rather than just being a worker. If you just become a worker when you are 30s, maybe you wouldn't continue to be a worker. Maybe you are good at the math, maybe you are good at the academia, maybe you are good at the storytelling. So you need to understand what does the meaning of the life for you, rather than the other people's of the meaning of their understanding styles. So in the end, you need to create your own meaning rather than just watching the other people's lives, other people's meanings. So the meaning is special for everybody else, and every meaning is different from each other. You need to understand what you are lacking. You need to understand what you can put into the table as a valuable. So if you're asking my opinion, I have always wanted to go to England and just trying to go to the church and trying to pray for God, but I didn't to do that. So I just complain about the situation for a lot, but it's understandable because the French accent is just getting similar with the English accent. Sorry guys, I just wait 1 minute. So just compare about the situation, and just like my head is just starting that just made it better. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just searching a lot. Maybe there's something like I have a headache. Maybe I'm going to die here. I'm not sure. I have 20 minutes more. So let's just wait and just speak very loudly rather than just because it's very cold. Maybe it's because of this cold. I'm just getting cold, and maybe I fucked up. If I just die here, if I just sleep here, probably nobody will going to come up and make me awake, because I'm lonely here as like everyone else. If you're just lonely, you fucked up, because if I just sleep here, nobody will going to find my collapse and nobody will find my body. That's the reason why we need to understand it. So I'm just away from this out of the sun. If I like to stay and just sleep here, after 1 hour, 2 hours, probably nobody will going to save me. That's the reason why I'm here. That's the reason why I'm just struggling by myself. Mostly some people are going to be happy after my death. But what we can do? Everybody will going to death one day, right? Right. So another thing, like when I was talking about the perfectionism, I'm just giving avoidance and the fear. The fear is very dangerous, and sometimes I have been watched the V for Vendetta. Even the fear sounds like just debatable there. But if you're asking my opinion about the fear, everybody just feel their fear in their essence. Nobody can escape from it. So the fear sometimes make you a guarantee just living. If you don't fear anything, probably you have been died already. That's the reason why fear sometimes can be understandable in a good way rather than just a bad way. But if the fear being obsessed by you, if you're just getting obsessed by the fear, mostly this kind of concept of the fear will going to affect your life in a bad way. That's the reason why sometimes the things should be keep in the balance. If you just protect the balance, mostly you can lose their core and their values. So it is better to understand not very weak form and not very, very super form. Sometimes people can think about it like the concept of Übermensch can be understandable, but Think about the Übermensch and thinking about the supernova. Maybe I can give another meaning of the supernova. Being a supernova is very good idea here. So being a Übermensch, being a just like the some like a extraordinary, and being a some like how can I say, the better class people, better class person. So everybody will going to die one day. Everybody's getting older. So what does giving you meaning to you? Even you're being an emperor, even you became something like a successful commander, you are going to die one day. Even you prove yourself I'm something like a very Übermensch. What going to all the Übermensch are doing here now? Maybe we are just understanding their ideas, we are understanding their concepts. But nowadays, everybody has been died, and we are going to same place with them. So it is understanding this style is something like a changeable, but in the end, it's very logical. I'm just thinking about myself and the other emperors, others just kings. So every king, for example, think about the Alaska, or maybe think about the Iceland. Oh, not Iceland, it's the Greenland. I'm sure the first name was a Greenland. It's something like Iceland. The red, what was his name? Maybe the son like a Viking from just another, like with maybe before this coming to this island, maybe the Greenland. The Red, I forget about his name. The Red, whose name is Red, just give the name of the Greenland to the. It was a Iceland, but he thought that maybe if it's better to give the meaning of a Greenland, some people can understand it's a very Greenland. It can be very adorable. It can be very appealable for other people. So then he gave the meaning to Iceland to Greenland, just getting more attention by the people. But it's something like a fulfilled. Sometimes even this maybe the 1,000 years before, it's maybe 500 years ago or the 1,000 years ago, it just some like it's a shit it hit, so it's being popular now. So we are just calling it Greenland, but the Greenland not very just fulfilled by the greens, and they are fulfilled by the ice, and even it is so this position we are giving the meaning of the like some like a Greenland. So is it logical? Not, but it is logical just being the advertisement, just the marketing. Yeah, if you are just thinking about is a marketing strategy, it's very powerful. It's very successful ideology here. And mostly the ideologies and the meanings life can be changeable here. Think about the socialism, think about the communism, think about Russia, Orthodox, and the, some like a Christianity, and the, even in the Christianity, Arianism, just Jehovism, and the Protestants, and the, just like Catholics, Protestants, and Orthodox. Even this kind of understanding, they are just trying to consensus about the, whether the Jesus is a God or whether the Jesus is a son of a God. So even if you are just thinking about the Jesus as a son of a God, probably it's also mean that Jesus is also a God. Mostly if the Jesus is a son of a God, probably he also a God, because they are coming to same essence, right? Right. Even the people around the world is coming to same essence by the God. Maybe you can think about the other beliefs, and there are a bunch of beliefs here. The pantheism can be understandable here. Even in the pantheism, we are just complete with the gods, so we are just understanding the all meanings here. So is it very logical here? If you are changing your opinion, maybe. The comfort zone. Sometimes when we are just searching for a meaning in this life, we need to forsake our comfort zone, and we need to demand more. If our demands are in the limitations and we are not getting more attention in this life, if you won't want to get attention, if your visions are under your limits, and if you don't want to surpass your limits, probably it is better to stay at your comfort zone. But if you want to success something in this life, very different, very unique, and very perspectiveful, you need to do something, and you need to put something to table. What you can put, what you can give. Nothing is going to be free, brother. Sometimes it's going to be hard. Maybe I'm just recording YouTube videos under this water, under this something like a snowy position. But it is better to compete. It is better to struggle. It is better to fight. So the only thing what we can do is continue to live. Without any, if you just don't do any efforts, if you don't do something to table, people are not going to respect you. Sometimes people are going to respect you not because of your ideas, but because of your struggles. You are just accepting the pain. You are just accepting your struggles. Mostly people are going to respect you for that reason, not because of you, but because of your struggles. So it is better to understand what we can just achieve in this life. Even maybe you can be not successful enough. Maybe you are doing the things correctly. Maybe it can be 50 years to realize to it. Maybe it can took 50 years you can understand your mistake. But it doesn't even mean that you are not very successful. You are not very understandable. You are not very adorable. It's changeable position. Maybe you are adorable in your inside, but maybe you are showing in an image in a different way to other people. Maybe your adorable position is very low. God damn, yeah. Status, signality, compression culture, performative success. Even in this position, because of we are just searching about the meaning of a life, we are living in the performative society. Like the Byung-Chul Han, maybe he was a very good this lastly great philosopher. Maybe it's better to understand of the Hannah Arendt. Hannah Arendt is better now. She was also beautiful, but even she was so beautiful. Even she's just 60, so I'm just appreciating his ideas, his concepts here. But mostly we are going to think about the Ayn Rand. Even the objectivism and Ayn Rand, she was also so beautiful enough, but she was also just giving a lot of help to his husband. Even she talking about the objectivism, even she was talking about the capitalism, he was just defending of the money. But in this position, she was also just giving a lot of money to chairs, and she was giving a lot of money to just helpful establishments. Maybe they're just giving a lot of money to chair, like something like church. Yeah, she was just giving a lot of money to church. She was giving a lot of money to somewhere else who were just like a charity. Yeah, she was just giving a lot of money to charity. She was just doing a lot of donation. At the same time, she was just defending the objectivism, capitalism, something like she was just escaped from the communism of the Russia. Yeah, kind of understandable. But she was also just giving the money for her husband. Yeah, why just I'm not giving the money to her husband? Even think about the Simone de Beauvoir. What's the meaning of the life for the Simone de Beauvoir? She was just getting date with the Sartre, but even she was just dating with the Sartre was just being with a lot of girls, and maybe the Simone de Beauvoir was being a lot of men. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that the Sartre was being a lot of different girls. But the Simone de Beauvoir was accepting it. But Simone de Beauvoir, after the this kind of relationship, she was also defending the feminism. So what is the meaning of the life? Everybody's talking about the ideas, not nobody's defending it. The meaning of a life, there is no meaning in this life. No, it's not a very logical, but there's a meaning. So the meaning is changeable. It is understandable idea here. Most of the people trying to search for the meaning in this life. But the one thing I'm going to give you, the meaning can be changeable time to time, and place to place, and age to age, century to century. So mostly the meanings of the life can be changeable when you are just getting into this century, this line, this age, or this time. So it is better to embrace what you can receive, what you are just getting into it. So after you analyze that the meaning is changeable, and even the beliefs, even the religions, and even the pressure of the society, even the pressure of the culture can changeable. Maybe if you don't like your job, you can just wait for exact moment and you can leave. If you just create your own business, it's better not to going to someone else's business. And when you are working in a government, you are working for someone else. And when you are working in a company, you are working for someone else. And when the company doesn't give a shit about you, and when you doesn't give a shit about the company. Sorry. And when you don't give a fuck about the company, and when the company doesn't give you a fuck about you. So it is better to understand what is the meaning of the behind, what's the reason behind. For example, think about the Immanuel Kant phenomenon distinction. There's something like we can see only the phenomena, and we cannot understand the nomens. So nomens can be changeable, right? Mostly we are just seeing it as a green, and we are something like a green, something like a computer, something like a mobile phone, an iPhone. So it is better to understand, but in their essence, we are giving the different meaning to poems, different meaning to other things. So the obedience is also different. We are just obedience to people, we are just obeying the other people's ideas, but it's not very necessary, as I mentioned that before. If you are just trying to defend the socialism, you need to understand even the Mao, Stalin, just Hitler, and Mussolini, Mao, just Chiang Kai-shek, maybe I'm not sure about the Chiang Kai-shek, like Hirohito, and George Bush and other people have killed the people as well before it's like this. For example, Stalin also have killed approximately Hodomore event. Hodomore event. The Ukrainian people have passed away by the Stalin because of starving. So it was very bad experience. Even the Mao have been killed the people mistakenly. Like he also argued that we need to just kill the 4 insects, like the insects, mouses, and some like a small birds like the serçe in the Turkish meanings, and like some like a flies. The 4 objects of the animals we need to kill for just making out of field, making out of agriculture, and then after he just tried to do that, probably all the ecosystem have been killed, and the people just die in the 20 million or the 30 million of the Chinese people have been passed away. It was a very sad situation for them, but in the end, in the first, the meaning of the for the agriculture, maybe it could be great meaning for the Chinese just development, but it didn't happen because you cannot do the agriculture in everywhere else. The agriculture, the agri society are so different concepts, and mostly in the some places can be great agricultural places, but some places cannot be good for the agriculture. You need to understand whether they are good or not. So the thing here, the meaning, as the last verse, as I mentioned before, it's a deep meaning and it's a focusable. So we need to understand what is the meaningful for us. But in the essence, the meaning is changeable for everybody else. So you need to understand. Don't waste your time and don't waste your life. So you need to understand. You need to focus yourself. You need to focus your life. So it is better to understand what you can do, what you can achieve, what you can understand. So it is better to analyze your situation and then you can give a decision. Thank you so much for watching me till now. See you on next video. Please give a like, subscription, and comment below. And if you're just thinking about your site, you can talk about it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching me till now. Thank you so much. See you on next video. Or thank you so much just giving me attention. Thank you so much for watching me till now. Thank you.